Hey traders, John Al here. Let's have a look across the markets today, see what has happened. I also want to share with you something that's happening in one market right now that I was in but something happened with that market where it actually forced me to get out of it because I realized that my view and my opinion of that market was wrong. And I'm so glad that I did make that decision within that market, because it literally has saved me hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I want to share that with you. So let's get straight into it. Don't place a trade based on what you'll see in this video, because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Alrighty traders, so let's get straight into it. I've got a lot of things that I want to talk with you today, especially about that story. Also guys, I've opened up 5 spots to my 12-month coaching program. This is where you and I are coaching every single day. This is intense. This is, if you really want to get your trading right, this is it for you. I've got 1 spot open now, guys. And again, once it's closed, because it's me and you every single day. So therefore I can't take on a lot of people. So there guys, 1 spot has now left open. If you really want to get your trading right, then this is it for you. I think it's that first link in the description there guys. Click on that, go fill out the application form, and I'll personally call you to see if you're a good fit. There's 1 spot left. So let's have a look at the S&P 500. So what's happening with the S&P 500? So what's happening here with the S&P 500 is that we are continuing to see this overall movement on the downside. And the really big thing that I really want you to sort of drive home, there's two big dynamics here that we want to think about, okay, with our trading this year. Think about this from a really large perspective from the markets this year. Now, what are 2 really big things you can learn from this year about the markets? Okay, and this is okay. Let's actually just look at the truth about the markets, about what's happening, and not what we think should be the reality, but what is the reality? The reality is this, is that even though the headlines and the media and everyone is screaming one way, does not mean it's going to be the way for the market, right? So we know, if we look at the S&P 500, we know that all through here, what was happening? Recession, banks collapse, interest rates going up, yada 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 yada, right? A whole slew of the media saying what? The media saying that this was now bad for the markets, right? This is bad, the recession, here we go, down, 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 right? So if that is the thinking behind that, firstly, you notice the market didn't really do much, right? It went down, it went up, went down, went up. Now, what is also really interesting is that in the face of all of that, what actually happened to the market? It actually went up. So this is where for majority of traders, if you've been trading the markets now for only a few years, you're probably really confused about what's going on. And this is where the market really causes 90% of you guys to lose money, because they don't understand the dynamic of what I just said there. And that is that the market is smart. It knows what most people are thinking and feeling, right? So if most people are saying, I'll put it this way, if most people lose money at this thing called trading, okay? I was one of those. I've been trading the markets for 19 years. My first 5+ years, I lost $250,000, $250,000 in there. I had no idea what I was doing. Now, since then, I've learned some proper strategies, system, processes, and so on and so forth. And that's what I really share with you and help you and guide you through the 12-month coaching. That first thing in the description there. Again, 1 spot left open for that. But the whole thing about the markets, right, is that if most people lose money and most people are thinking one thing, then if most people are thinking that way, and we know most people lose money, doesn't it make sense to do the opposite to what they're thinking, right? And so you can sit there. Now, I know a lot of people are thinking, how's this market going up, and so on and so forth, right? And then they start to rationalize why. So the really big thing about this here is that, especially with the S&P 500, is that once again, if you go to my YouTube channel, hey traders, I'm doing a okay, so if you go to my YouTube channel and you actually look at the trailer video, there's a trailer video there that says end of targets for the S&P 500, right? So that was the end of that, right? That was the end of my targets through there, and I actually expected to see this market to rise through where we are right now, and we're just getting a bit of a pullback. Now, the really interesting thing about what's happening here in the markets is we're getting this little bit of a drop here through here. And since we're getting a little bit of a drop through here, a lot of people saying, John, there's no way this market can make an all-time new high. And I've been seeing some of those comments in my YouTube channel. So if that is the comments that I'm seeing in the YouTube channel, right, I'm seeing the result of that, then a lot of people saying that this is the start of something much bigger. But is that the facts of what's happening with the markets right now, or is that your ego speaking? And so right now we're getting a little bit of a pullback, and people saying there's no way this market can go up. That's what people were thinking the market was going to crash here. They thought there's no way this market was going to do this. So why cannot the market go? is that the right word? Why cannot the market go up like that? So we can see that through there, right? So on a technical level basis, guys, and again, I'm going to get to my story in a minute about that one market there. If we just look at what the market is telling us, right, what's happening here, and not the farts, not the headlines and so on and so forth, what is happening with these markets here, right? What's happening here? We're getting what? We're getting a move up, and then we're getting what? We're getting just a bit of a pullback here, aren't we? And so this is just the pullback. Now, once again, what is a pullback? An upward trend consists of higher highs and higher lows. No, dude, John, tell me something new. And in that, guess what? We have pullbacks, not change of trends, not crashes, just pullbacks. So what is this right now as we speak? As we speak right now is what? It's just a pullback. Now, what most people have a hard time doing is that it's a pullback now. As the days go on, it starts to continue to paint that same picture of it just being a pullback, or it starts to morph into something else. And then what do? We have to flow and bend and mold with that, right? And so the whole approach to that is that's this market right now is just in this pullback phase right now. We're definitely at this level of, we definitely got this like a little short-term support level around that sort of 4,400 level through there. So again, this is just the pullback before we're probably going to see a really nice move to the upside. So I don't actually expect too much of a drop through here on the S&P 500. I was actually expecting to see a lot bigger of a drop last month, but I'm realizing the market is much stronger. And yes, we are getting a drop through here. Now, when I say a drop, we still may get a few more percent to the downside. But once again, guys, where are we right now in the markets? Okay. If we go look at this weekly chart, where are we? We're in what? We're in up, down, high, low, up, same low, up. So if we get something like that, who's still in control of these markets? Like when it comes to buyers and sellers? Now, should I say, where is the trend still in that case? If this is an upward trend, higher highs and higher lows, what we talked about before, then what is this big picture telling us? The big picture telling us what? That the overall trend is still up. And even though we may get a little bit of a pullback through here, another maybe 5%, maybe, that right now the buyers are in control and trying to fight this market. Doesn't matter what we think or feel or even hear. The market, the truth, right? The only thing we should be reading and understanding is the market. The market is telling us that this is just what? This is just a healthy pullback. So if you're trying to short the market, thinking the market's going to crash, the market is screaming at you right now. We're in a very strong upward trend. And yes, we may get another week or two of a downside. We're probably going to scoot back up here and continue that trend, right? Just like back here, higher high, higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. Right, so that's actually a really big thing there when it comes to the S&P 500 from there, and we can see that's what's going on through there. Let's go look at the Dow Jones. And the same for the Dow Jones, right? The Dow Jones, look at the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones is not even strong sellers here. This is ramping up to have another big strong move. This is ramping up to have another very big strong move, and we don't want to be fighting it, guys. Instead of fighting the market, we all know what's the number one phrase about trend analysis? The trend is your friend until the end, right? Now, the thing is that if we know the trend is your friend until the end, why not just go with it? If we know that if there's a strong trend in place, we know the best chances of doing well out of the markets, because trading is hard, right? It's a difficult thing, mostly because of our own egos, right? We know that. So mostly because of our own egos. So if we know that the trend is strong, up, look at this here, slow pullback. You trying to short the market through here, guess what happened? Bam, out of the market. Oh, the market's gonna crash, Bam, out of the markets. What's happening here right now? See how it's just this, it's the same thing, and this pressure that's building right now, or this right now is going through what? Just another slow movement on the sideways, or slow move down, or another slow move down, or another slow move down. And when the market has these very strong moves up and slow moves down or sideways, strong up, slow move sideways, strong up, what's happening here, right? So yes, we may even get a little bit of a pullback through here, but guess what's going to happen? There's major level of support. Yes, a little more pullback, but get ready for just a really big move out of the Dow Jones. Now, the reason why I say that is because once you know what to look for, we can look for really good opportunities that once this sideways period is done, we could be getting ready for that next leg up. That's what's called being lucky in the stock market, right? Being lucky is all about, okay, I'm seeing this right now. This is probably going to be just some form of a pullback. And we may get a little bit more of a pullback as well too. If I bring up my moving average through here, right, we're probably going to continue this sideways phase through here. Sideways. And guess what? And then we're probably going to start to get this moving average coming up through here. Sideways. And then guess what? We get a bit of a breakout through here, and then away we go. And then once that happens, all-time highs is coming. This is going to shock a lot of people, because a lot of people, or should I say, some people in my comment section are still saying the market's going to crash. Now, the thing is, guys, is that once you know you are wrong, you've got to remove your ego and your opinion to say, you know what, I'm wrong here. I have to listen to what the market's telling me, because if I don't, my ego and my bias on these markets right now is going to cause me to lose a lot of money. And it's the number one killer, right? If you've been trading the markets for quite some time, you know yourself, right? It's like, man, my ego got involved there. I traded too much, all this sort of stuff, right? We just got to remove our egos and say, okay, what's really going on in the markets through here? So that's what's happening through there, and get ready, because once the Dow Jones starts to break above these highs up here of that 35,000, guess where we're running to? We're probably going to run up to all-time new high here. Why is that exciting? Because as this is building, right, this is where the patience comes involved. This is a very big thing about patience. Is once this sideways pullback here comes to an end, and again, with my system that I use, I have a qualification to say, okay, when is this pullback ending? And now when are we likely to be starting that next leg up? I actually have that within my system there. So when this starts to pull back, we could be getting ready for what? For a really good move to the upside. So people that are patient, people that are waiting right now and really watch what's going on, this is how you get, quote unquote, once again, lucky in the markets from there. So let's go look at the Nasdaq right now. So the Nasdaq right now is definitely, we're finding a lot of resistance and support through here. We've been slowly coming down through here, but I'm actually sensing we might be getting ready for like maybe just a slight little up move from here, because we have been coming down and we're actually at the moving average as well too. If I bring up this That's that whole area through there. But if I bring up this, we're down towards the moving average right now, and we tend to get like a bit of a bounces and stuff off the moving average. So we may get a little bit more downside movement, guys, but again, not even the Nasdaq. Like the Nasdaq may even just have, you know, again, like looking at maybe a 5 to 10% pullback before the Nasdaq actually holds here, because we're in a very, very, very strong upward trend. I initially thought that the pullback we're going to get, which we are getting right now, I was just early myself, that it was going to be a lot stronger than it is. But since the market, and this is where, guys, it's important for me and it's important for everyone, since the market is telling us something different, we need to flow with that, right? And what is that? The market is saying, hey, we're not getting a very strong pullback yet, and trying to go short this market right now is very, 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 very risky. So we're seeing this overall pullback through here, and we're seeing that we actually have this whole level of support level through here. So the next level of support is, we're actually at the moving average, but the next level of support is down through here, right? So down through there somewhere, right? So we may get a little bit more of a pullback through here, but one thing I'm expecting to see out of the Nasdaq is that we may get a little bit moved down to the downside, but then we're probably going to get a bit of a pop to the upside. And then we may do something like that. I don't expect to see too much of an upward movement, because we've actually had a lot of upward movement already out of the Nasdaq from there. So that's what I'm seeing through there, guys, for when it comes to the Nasdaq as well too. Let's go look at the mining sector. So GDX, let's see what's actually happening with GDX. So GDX right now, guys, we're actually, again, it's very, 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 very weak here on this GDX. You can see the GDX from this low point down to this high point. Look what happened. It came up, it retraced 50%, and then now it's rolling over here. So on a short-term level basis, guys, the trend is down. And this is where, remember I was saying before about the stock market, about the trend is your friend until the end? Well, if we have a look at things like NEM, right? Look at this here. Where is the trend on NEM? Right? It is what? It is down. It is up. It is down. It is up. It is what? Down. So you trying to go long here, right? Fighting the markets, trying to go long here. Guess what? You end up getting destroyed. So, for me, as you can see here, look at this here. From this low point down to this high point, actually came up less than 50%, and then it actually retraced from there, as you can see, right? A whole complete retracing from NEM. And I'm just using NEM as an example of, once we know a trend is established, yes, we will get these pullbacks through here like this, but the trend is likely to resume because the trend is strong. So the thing for me, guys, is that once we know there's a strong trend in place and we know there's a very good chance it's likely to continue, it doesn't make sense to just to go with that trend, right? Once I started to do that, my success rate started to improve massively, big time. And guys, for me personally, with my own personal trading, I've had about 10 trades now in the last 2 weeks, 100% success rate, 100% success rate. Now, I don't always get 100% success rate, and there are times when I might have a couple of small losses in a row. That actually happens. But I've had 100% success rate in my own trading. And guess what? I'm using the same system across all markets: foreign exchange, futures markets, stock markets, and so on and so forth, even the Indian market, right? So I'm using all the same system from there. And again, guys, make sure you apply for that last spot in the link in the description there, and then I'll personally call you, because if you really want to learn how to master these markets by trading and also understanding the mindset side of things, then I'm your guy. I know exactly what to do here. I'm right now, guys, again, 10 trades, and I just had another trade yesterday. It's just amazing across all markets, right? So it doesn't matter what type of trader you want to be. You want to be like an end of day trader where you want to get in and hold for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, or you want to be more of an intraday trader. I can definitely help you out with your trading from there. So let's go look at actual silver and gold from here. So we'll start off with the good old silver market here, little rally up, and then we've actually had a bit of a drop to the downside through here. So really not much going on here. So there's either buyers in control, right? There's buyers in control, or there's sellers in control, or there's no one in control. So buyers in control simply means upward trend, right? Simply means nice, strong upward trend. Sellers in control simply means what? Strong downward trend from there to there, as you can see. And then, so we have that through there, and then we have no one in control, right? So when we have no one in control, the market's indecisive, right? buyers and sellers are fighting it out. Therefore, there's real, like, is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? It's a guess. It's a gamble. Okay. So whenever I see markets like this, I personally don't trade them, right? When the market looks like this, I trade uptrends and I trade downtrends. I trade when someone's clearly in control. And oh, by the way, guys, if you're looking for different patterns in the markets, one of the patterns that's probably going to suck you in big time is this type of move. When we have a very big long move up, and then we have a bit of a short-term pullback, and then we try to go for a run again. This pattern here can really suck you in. It may even break up to all-time new high or a high, but then it's probably likely to fail just like it did. So whenever you're trading, guys, keep an eye on that when it comes to that. Now, let's actually now continue down to my story that I want to share with you at the start of this video here. Oh, by the way, guys, if you do like the technical analysis that I'm sharing with you, if you want to go a lot more deeper into the actual trend analysis, the pullbacks, understanding the markets a lot more, that second link in the description there, guys. I'm actually giving you I'm allowing you to get free access to free membership access to my trading course for free. There's about 6 hours long. I think it's about 5-6 hours long with the content in that there. That's second link in the description there, guys. Click on that, and if you want to be able to get some real good help, some guidance, then I promise you in that trading course. Actually, the very first video, guys, in that free trading course, that second link in the description, that very first video is all about sharing the top 13 biggest mistakes you're making right now and how to stop them and overcome them so you can start to move forward. Because if you're losing a lot of money, guess what? You're probably making a lot of mistakes. And over the last now almost 20 years trading, I've learned a lot of stuff. So that second link in the description there, guys. So, here's the thing, okay? I'm gonna share a story with you here. For the last probably majority of this year, I always thought, okay, interest rates are probably going to start to come down. Okay, they're probably going to start to come down, and we know that's going to happen. And I was even saying this all the time. I was like, okay, interest rates going to come down. Interest rates going to come down. So therefore, we should start to see TLT start to come up, right? And because I was putting that correlation, because my view was so strong on that, I just kept saying it. Okay, we know the interest rates are going to come down, and we know the bond market's going to go up. Okay, I was saying that all the time. In fact, I had a position in the bond market to actually benefit from that. So while I was saying that, I was so focused on these markets going up. But then when I removed my ego and I started looking at what's really going on, I realized that this market is in a downward trend, and the market is telling me that we are not over. In fact, we could be just getting started for another big move down. And so I've been long. I was long actually the TMF market. I was long the TMF market for quite some time. Okay, for quite some time. And I was long through. It was around about $8 or something like that. Around about $8 from there to there. Yeah, so it was around about that $8 something that I was long. I was like, my view, my ego, my opinion, and blah 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 blah, right? But when I started to see this happening, when I started to see that the market was now lower high, lower high, lower high, and it made another lower high, and we got this down candle here through there, I realized that my view of TMF, at least for the short-term level basis, now guys, long-term, meaning like next year, I do believe that rates are going to come down and the bond market's going to go higher. But for the short-term level basis, maybe for the rest of this year, I am wrong about my view in these markets, and I need to get out. Right, so this is more like just getting involved with this here. So because I did do that, I only got out at around about a 10% loss on my entire position there, right? On my entire position on that there. I removed it, 10% loss. 90% of my funds came back to me, and they're still sitting in my account right now, cash, waiting for good opportunities. If I did not do that, and I still held right now, it would have cost me a lot more money. And now my entire position would have been down about 25%, and probably still continuing instead of having that 10% cash on the sidelines and then waiting for a really good opportunity. And the reason why I wanted to share that story with you is the one to say that I've learned over the years that it doesn't matter about my thinking, it doesn't matter about my ego or what I'm saying. All is what is a really big theme about this market update for you guys, right? Is all about what? It's all about trend analysis. And the trend is your friend until the end. Look at this here, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. And once we know where the trend is, and once we know the trend is established, then we just what? The best thing to do is actually to go with that trend. That's the reason why, guys, my system is so successful, because 1 out of the 4 rules that I use to find a good high quality setup in the markets, rule number 1 is what is the trend doing? Because I know once I'm actually on with the trend, then I can start to really move forward from there. So hope this helps you out today, guys. The story here at the end, guys, I really want to share with you that if you do have a lot of ego around, especially us men, if we have a lot of ego that we want to be right, I've been saying this, you might be saying something for the last 6 months, might believing something for the last 6 months, but sometimes it's just say, you know what, I was wrong thinking that. What can I learn from this? What can I learn from that? And again, for this one here, I was thinking the interest rates were going to drop down where they haven't yet. I was wrong, but just admitting you were wrong, right? And then understanding that and not saying, it's going to come back, it's going to come back, it's going to come back, it's going to come back. And you keep going. Guess what? That's when you really start to lose a lot of money in the markets, because this is when your ego really starts to get involved with it. But by learning how to control that ego, we can cut our losses short. Guess what? I lost 10%. And the money's still sitting there. Probably over the next month or two, there's going to be a great opportunity where I'm going to get in. I'm going to make 20-30% on the next position. You see what I'm saying there? So it's like, it's a win-win-win-win-win-win-win situation. So there we go, traders. Hope this helped you out. Once again, guys, I've got 1 spot left open for my actual 12-month coaching. If you'd like to get 12 months worth of daily coaching with me, guys, where I teach you my system, my strategies, you see what I'm doing, I'm coaching you, I'm helping you, and a lot more, then that first link in the description there, guys, click on that, go fill out that application form, and I look forward to speaking to you real soon. Hey traders, so let's get straight into this setup here. I want to share with this really simple pattern that I use. It really is my number 1 sort of trading pattern that I use, guys, and I wanted to share it with you for free to help you guys out, and hopefully you guys can go look for this trading pattern itself, right? Because that really is incredible. Now, guys, what you want to do, the best thing about what I'm about to teach you here is go back and back test this, okay? Back test it, test it out, see how it works for you, and so on and so forth. Obviously, you got to have the proper risk management, the proper stops, losses, and also the best way to exit it and exiting these trades so you can let your profits run and cut your losses short. So right now, guys, I'm actually looking at the Euro USD. This is a 2-minute chart here. So for me personally, guys, the way that I personally trade is I trade the last half an hour of the US stock market. So I live in Australia. So the last half an hour of the US stock market, that's from 5:30 a.m. to 6 a.m. I trade that. Okay, so I trade that. And I actually have scans that actually utilize that for me. You know what I mean? So I use scans. I use a whole scanning process. And stuff like that as well too. So but then in the afternoon, what I like to do is I like to trade from right now it's around almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon my time, and I start to look at the markets around, say, that 3:30 time, possibly even early. If I look at the markets early, I'm seeing what's going on, and this is exactly what actually happened recently on this chart as well too. I was looking at the markets throughout the day. It was lunchtime around midday, and I'm like, oh, this actually could be setting up. And then came 1 o'clock. I'm like, oh, this actually could be. So I really watched it, and I want to share this setup with you. Okay, so that's how I trade. But the thing for me, guys, is I really only use 1 moving average. Like, I've got 2 moving averages on the screen here. This one is a 52 moving average on a 2-minute chart. But I also use the 52 moving average on a daily chart. I like to use the 52 moving average on most of my time frames, and then every now and then on some of my, like, what we call higher time frames, I will use what's called a 24. But let me just take the 9 moving average off here for a minute, okay? And the thing that I really want to just share with you is that this trading pattern works again and again and again, and it's pretty powerful, okay? So as I said before, guys, I trade this system here using the stock market itself, and also utilizing the forex and the futures markets in the afternoon for intraday basis. So what this setup is, guys, it's really simple. If you've been following me for the last couple of weeks, you know I talk about the L-shaped pattern, right? Or the upside down L-shaped pattern. So that simply means if we have a movement down like here, okay? And then we have a movement up like that, right? So it's a bit like an L-shaped pattern. Now, before I continue that, guys, I actually spoke to someone recently and it really sort of dawned on me that my trading has become so successful, but all I utilize is patterns on the charts. I don't use fundamentals or news announcements or anything like that when I'm trading the markets. Why? Because say for example, if I'm in a trade right now on the 2-minute chart, I may only be in it for half an hour, sometimes even just a few, even just maybe, maybe 10 minutes I'm in that trade in and out. So I'm not utilizing fundamental news, right? So I'm just getting in and getting out, and sometimes these things can last. Sometimes these trades can last a couple of hours, and sometimes they're gonna cut short. I'll talk about that in just a minute. But I'm looking for the L-shaped pattern, right? Or if you look at it from an upside down perspective, I'm just looking for a market that's gone up, and then I'm looking for a slow across like that, right? So sort of like what we have. You look at this here, it's gone up. And notice how we've just overall really have just gone slow across through there. See that through there? So it's really just, it's not the exact perfect type of bars, because what I prefer to see is the market going up like this here, right? And then we have these small bars going through here. But it's not the exact perfect setup, but that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this type of setup, like an upside down L shape, and I'm looking for it to go to a 52 moving average. Again, guys, this is the live market here right now. Look at this here. This is the Forex market right now in the afternoon. And so again, guys, I utilize this on all my trading, right? And I'm having a phenomenal time. Yesterday, I had a trade on the Aussie market as well too, on the Aussie stock market, phenomenal trade, and I had a couple of trades as well too on the Forex and futures markets yesterday. So you can see here, right? We're just looking for an up, or we're looking for a sideways. And then what we're looking for is this 52 moving average to be trending up. And then see this very big breakaway bar? This is the big breakaway bar. This one here. I wait for the close of that bar, then I enter in on that bar, and then I look to ride it up. Okay? Now, that doesn't look like much, guys, but when you start to become really good at what you do, and you can start to increase your level of risk because you're profitable. What I like to do is I like to have a stop at the low of the bar. So let's just say, for example, this trade here, you had a $5,000 risk on it, okay? A $5,000, and that's where the stop is there. Well, as you can see, this did pretty much roughly around by the time I got out. It was close to 1-to-1. So that means it was $5,000 profit, because that was your risk, $5,000 profit. Now I personally have a lot more risk than that. I personally like to do around 20K risk per trade myself. So you can sort of do the numbers yourself on this particular trade here. But that's what I'm sharing with you here, right? It's like, it doesn't matter. Once you start to get comfortable, you can start to, you don't need big moves, right? To make really good income. And so this one here, just a quick in and out, but that's been it for the afternoon, right? Look at this here. There hasn't been any other setups, but then we came up sideways, moving average, breakaway bar, and then we had a nice little move. And this I actually had this level up here as resistance, so I knew it was probably likely to at least get to there. And that's when I started looking to get out of this position from a trading perspective here, from this here. So it really comes back down to that, guys. All I'm looking for is I'm looking for a market to do like this and like that. Then I'm really looking forward to what? And then I'm looking for this. This is a 52 moving average here, okay? The 52 MA, and 52 MA. And by the way, traders, that I think it's the first link in the description there, guys. In my trading course, my Mastering the Markets trading course, I'm giving you free membership access. I have another video walking through a bit more detail about this actual trading system in that course that I'm giving you free access to. So you can go get access to that if you want to, and you can really start to learn. And you'll start to learn a lot. You'll start to see why I actually break it down the way I do, and so on and so forth. But I wanted to share this with you guys to give you a bit of a heads up on what you should be looking for and what I look for, guys. And again, for me personally, guys, it's not about me being lucky. Right, I'm not trying to guess the market. I'm not trying to hope the market does something. I'm not trying to do anything like that. right? All I'm doing is I'm waiting for my pattern, and it really, like guys, it really is that simple, right? And then I'm gonna sit here as long as I have to and wait for the pattern. Oh, there's the pattern. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Stop loss is down there. Move your stop loss up. Get taken out. You see what I'm saying there, right? So I'm looking for a movement to there, and then I'm looking for a big strong breakaway bar breaking past this level of resistance. Okay? And so, and generally what I like to do as well too, depending on the trade, but this is where the 9 moving average comes in play, because I like to use the 9 moving average, because the 9 moving average sort of I use it more like an exit point, but I'm utilizing a stop management as well too. But if you see here, this trade here was enter there and then exit up here as well too, right? So it's by utilizing the 9 moving average. You don't know how long these moves are going to last. These things can just keep going and going and going. And one thing I found by utilizing the 9 moving average, you get out here, and as you can see, by the time it actually gets below the moving average, so you're in here, by the time it starts to get below the moving average, you know that move has possibly come to an end. And so that's telling you that that trade has been done, right? This is the art of actually trading the markets. Does that make sense, guys? So this is the system here really in a nutshell, from this perspective here. And again, guys, I'm just doing this recording here just to share with you, like, if you are, as you can look, like, see my screen, right? There's actually really nothing on my screen here. I have this level of resistance up here, right? I have that level of resistance where it is there, and I have this level of support resistance. But notice how I only really have only 1 moving average on the screen, right? And again, if I take all that off the screen, right? And then if I take that off the screen, I only have 1 moving average on the screen, maybe 2, but I don't really use the 9 that much, right? And again, you can see the market moving live right now. This is the Euro USD. And that's all I use. And my success rate has gone through the roof. I do go through periods where I do have some small losses, small profits, where the trades are not really moving, that you go through those periods, right? That's called trading. But the reason why I wanted to share this with you guys is because I wanted to share with you that I used to trade where there was like the stochastics and the RSIs and the MACDs and the Bollinger Bands and the 4,000 moving average and so on and so forth. Traders, it doesn't have to be that complicated. It really doesn't. Like we don't have to check the inflation number report to see which way we should trade and so on and so forth. To me, guys, it doesn't matter whether it's the stock market or whether it's a 2-minute Forex chart, or whether I'm looking at, say, you know, maybe I'm looking at the DAX or the S&P on the futures market, which again, it's just after 4 o'clock in the afternoon for me right now. So I'm going to start to look at a lot of the actual futures as well too, as doing that. But I like to keep an eye on the Forex during the day because there's some really good trading patterns. And as you can see here, and I was waiting for it, guys. Like, what was I waiting for? So look at this here. So what did I see? I see that we actually had a move up and then a move sideways, right? And I said, okay, cool. Well, we have this level up here, right? We have this level up here. And if indeed we do start to get a big breakout bar above that, I know just by looking back in the past, right? I also knew that looking back in the past, guess what? Resistance here, resistance and resistance, right? So really, 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 really simple. So as soon as I saw this, right? As soon as I saw this, let's go to here. Oh, let's go. Right, there we go. Right. So as soon as I saw that, you go sideways, sideways, sideways. And the reason why you don't ever want to preempt this, right? You don't ever want to say, oh, I'm going to get in now because it's going to go up. Because so many times the market could go like that and does not confirm the trade. Right? We need to wait for the breakaway bar to break up with the direction of the 52, right? So we need something like boom, like that. As you can see, we need something like that. The reason why we look for the breakaway bar first is because then it gives us a high probability that we're going to see a nice move up from there, right? And then we can manage it and so on and so forth from there. Does that make sense? And again, guys, this is actually quite a short-term move, but I wanted to share this with you here. There's been plenty of trades over the last couple of weeks on the Forex and futures markets that have done really, 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 really well for me. And I wanted to share this with you guys to show you, like, listen, you guys are really overcomplicating it way too much. And this is probably one of the reasons why you're not doing too well in your trading. You know, and guys, if you really do need some help, that second link in the description you can actually apply to actually join my coaching program. And I will be there every day showing you my trades and coaching you every day for the next 12 months to help you along your journey if that's what you need. If you're struggling and you can see what I'm saying here, like this is actually quite simple and maybe you're overcomplicating it, then come on down, fill out that application. Again, that second link in the description there, guys. Fill out that application form and I'll personally call you to see if we're a good fit for the actual coaching program, where I will hold your hand every day and show you what I'm doing and all that sort of stuff as well too. So anyway, guys, that second link in the description, go click on that, go do that right now. But I really wanted to drive home the point that I've been trading the markets now for 19 years myself. And the big thing for me, right? The big thing for me when I'm trading the markets was removing a lot of the stuff that I thought I needed to have, right? I was always thinking that I needed to have the indicators, right? I needed to have the RSI, I needed to have the stochastics, I needed to have that. And one thing I realized more and more and more by people who actually do 7 figures or more in the markets, guys, right? People who make more than 7 figures, make more than $1 million per year out of that. Now that's $1 million profits, right? Now, one thing I want to stop you there, guys. When I say $1 million profit, one thing you'll find, the truth about $1 million profit per year is 1 month they might make 200 grand and the next month they might be flat. Or maybe even slightly down, maybe a few $1,000s. You know what I mean? Or maybe 5 or 10 grand. And then the next month they might be up 150 grand. You know what I mean? Like, and then the next month their account might be flat because there was no trades there. So when I say $1 million per year, that's not like $80,000 a month, right? That's not how the markets work. Some months it's active and there's a lot of trades going on. And therefore there's a really, like, for example, last couple of weeks I've had like close to 10 trades. I think it's around 10 trades in total in the last 2 weeks. 100% success rate for myself using this exact same system I'm talking about. On Aussie stock market daily chart, US stock market. I'm actually still in a couple of US stocks right now as I speak. Forex and futures trading, right? And so, guys, you really can do this. But if we can just remove one thing, as I said before, one thing I found by studying the 7-figure traders, the people who do really well from trading, you'll notice that these people who do really well from trading, not investing. Investing is buy and hold long term. This is trading, what I'm talking about here, right? Trading where you're looking for a good pattern, get in, get out, and so on and so forth, and then make the money like I did today. You'll find that it's very, 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 very simple like this. You don't need to complicate it. And one thing I do say is if your screen doesn't look like this, but it has a lot of lines on the screen and a lot of chart and 10,000 10,000 or 1,000 different support resistance lines, different RSI, different stochastics, all that sort of stuff. That there is creating that there is the thing that's creating confusion in the markets there. See, guys, the one thing about the markets is we need to keep the main thing the main thing. The market is the main thing, right? So as you can see, most of my decisions is based off the market, and then I use one moving average to help me with the trend. So there we go, traders. Hope that helps you out, and I'll see you in the next video.